It's KMJ at KMJnow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome to the Mark Capitan Show. This is Attorney Mark Capitan, your host. Today's show is brought to you by the Capitan Brothers Law Firm. We've been serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. 559-498-8000. Capitan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. Well, folks, it's been a while since I've had a fellow attorney on the show, so I thought it was time. This show started out as Brothers-in-Law and was to feature discussions about legal topics with fellow attorneys. And we had some of the best from the Central Valley, including DAs, public defenders, private criminal and civil attorneys. My next guest, I would like to say, is very close to me. I would like to say that in some brotherly sense, but actually, we are still in the first year of knowing each other. He's very close to me because his office is about 2 doors down from mine. He and part of his staff moved into our building some time ago, and we've shared a lot of fun, a lot of work, and a hugely significant amount of civil judgments that have made him and his wife and son very, very happy. You may have seen him on your social media or other forms of advertising, or you may have seen him at your local bar or restaurant as he has plastered his face in just about every restroom of every drinking establishment in town. He's been advertising his services as a DUI defense attorney and forensic alcohol analyst. And just before you knock him for having such an in-your-face advertising campaign, let me tell you, he has built a very, very successful practice. He is a great attorney, and he's a great guy. So I'd like to welcome to the Mark Capitan Show the man who is always staring at you every time you walk into the men's bathroom, Jonathan Rooker. Welcome, Jonathan.
How you doing? Glad to be here.
So I'll tell you, well, I'm going to get straight to the bathroom thing. I hate to tell you that. You know I was going to talk about it, man.
It had to.
Listen, I understand that you have these pictures everywhere. When you first started out, you were passing out cups. I understand you were in your wild days as a young youth, but you were still an attorney, and you were passing out tchotchkes and key fobs and cups and everything at every bar that you went. And you made a point of telling every bartender around town, hey, my name's Jonathan Rooker. I'm an attorney. And I see the amount of criminal defense business that comes in, and it's very, very impressive.
It started out, I bought these cups, and they were those Arctic cups, and I had my information put on them, and I would give them away. They're $40, $50 a piece.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give away things like lanyards that people would throw away or throw in a drawer with the rest of them. I wanted something that they would appreciate and use, and I wanted quality. So I got good brands, put my information, and then I went out and I got dice cups for the bars that have dice cups.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And those are not cheap either. They're about $50 each to get my information on them and pass them out. And I took them to the bars. And I started getting calls from different bars asking, hey, can you bring me 2 more dice cups?
Right.
I got a text message last night asking for them with the picture of one that was broken. I brought them in. It worked. I put my ads up in the bathrooms. And I was brand new at the business, and I was trying to get my name out there. And the direct point of sale type, or my target clientele, happened to be in bars, and it worked out. But surprisingly, I didn't understand the things that would occur on advertisements.
Like what?
Anytime you have a face up, people like to draw on it. At one place, they put toilet paper over my eyes. Someplace else, they may have drilled a hole in the mouth. And they even drew things on my face or in my mouth, took pictures, and shared them on social media.
Oh, my gosh.
But even those pictures, as embarrassing as they were getting it out to all of their friends. People were sharing it.
So what's funny about that is you know, we come from this profession that is supposed to be prestigious. And if you ever came down to the criminal courts, it's nothing in any form or fashion prestigious. It is the I don't know, the gridiron of rock and roll. I mean of law. It's the bastions of law as far as that's concerned. The basement of law. It is very gritty, dirty. It is in the sense of what we're dealing with, and to the rest of the law community, we were supposed to be this, high-end lawyers and stuff like that. And so you weren't supposed to advertise at all back in the day. And I remember being with Ron Saul and stuff, and we started advertising in the back of the newspapers and stuff. And then eventually when Peter and I started the firm, or my brother John and Peter started the firm, and then when I joined, we were doing the buses and the billboards and stuff. And they would call and they would say, "Hey, someone painted devil's horns on your faces on the buses. We'll make sure to remove it." And I would tell them, "No, don't. I mean, you get more advertisement."
100%, 100%. It worked out that way. It surprised me, but it definitely worked out that way. And as far as how the courts are and what you'd expect, it is not as seen on TV. It is
Right.
completely different.
Yeah, folks, I got to say, I love to say we're the dummies of law, but it's because we're not sitting there drafting, the legal briefs that you see these civil guys do. But I got to say, you have to know how to be on your feet. You have to know how to talk to a judge with respect, to a district attorney with respect that you're trying to get a deal from, and to your clients who may not be the most savory guys in the world. And I'm sure you've had, Jonathan, some pretty hardcore guys that you had to deal with in the past.
There have been some clients that were a little bit on the scarier side. There's been a lot of really good people that I've helped out, but there's a couple that you kind of kept your guard up a little bit.
You have a quote. Let's see. You have a quote when we talk about good people, and I don't know if you know the quote offhand. Criminal defense is about helping good people, and that's what I do. And I was like, oh, I love that.
A lot of the clients are really good people that have made a fairly small mistake, but it has significant repercussions in their life. It may cost them a Class A driver's license. It may cost them employment, firearm rights. A lot of different things can happen.
Yeah.
You get a 60-year-old who's been in a minor altercation, who's lived a good life, he's a professional, and he has a very minor domestic violence. He may be a big game hunter. He may travel across states to go deer hunting, and firearm rights are gone. He may work at a school district, and all of a sudden, he's going to get fired for domestic violence.
Right.
And it's real life issues that come into play, and you're helping them through the hardest thing they've ever gone through.
That's what's weird. The first thing that I say when a person walks in, I go, "Hi, my name is Mark Capitan. How are you doing?" And you realize, wait a minute, how am I doing? I'm at the worst moment in my life. A lot of people would say, well, let me ask you, a person may say, well, wait a minute, I don't care if he's a school principal or if he is a hunter or whatever. For a guy like, I'm going to get specific with you on that, a guy with a domestic violence should lose it all.
No, not necessarily. And also, when we're defending them, they're presumed innocent. They call it criminal defense, but we're defending people that are presumed innocent. It should be innocent defense.
I've never, ever thought of that term before like that. That's very interesting. So we are calling it criminal defense, which presumed. Now, I've done it in a jury trial where you've asked the judge, you need to stop. You need to tell the prosecutor to stop calling him the defendant. You need to call him Mr. So-and-so because it's already presuming that he is in some way guilty of some sort. But I've never thought about that. It's a great concept. You should be calling it innocence defense.
They talk about family law, but most of the time, that's about ripping families apart.
Yeah.
Not family law. They're not putting them together. It sounds so nice, family law. Criminal defense sounds so bad, but they're presumed innocent. They name them all wrong.
We are on with Jonathan Rooker from the law offices of Jonathan Rooker. This is the Mark Capitan Show on KMJ. We'll be right back after this. It's New News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Welcome back to the Mark Capitan Show. This is Attorney Mark Capitan, your host. Hey, folks, I'm going to turn down this music a little bit here. And since we are sitting here with Jonathan Rooker from the law offices of Jonathan Rooker, I want to tell you something about the Capitan brothers and the law offices of Jonathan Rooker. If you are looking for an attorney for a criminal defense case, or if you're looking for an accident, if you've been in an accident, or if you or a friend has been in an accident, do yourself a favor, do them a favor. Call your local attorney. Call the Capitan brothers at 559-498-8000. You could call Jonathan Rooker's office at 559, what is it, 266?
5555.
5555, 266-5555. It's a scary time. It's a traumatic time in anybody's life to have one of these things happen. And the best thing that you could do, and then we're not just saying this because we're attorneys, we're saying this because it is literally the best thing you could do, is call an attorney. Most everybody in criminal defense or personal injury will offer you free advice. I know you, Jonathan, you offer free advice too, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. You give a little bit of free advice. We'll give you a bit of a discussion with an actual attorney. It's not just someone who's, a paralegal or someone, a lot of these LA firms, they have what they call cappers, guys who go around calling people. It's crazy. And they just try to take cases away from people. But Jonathan's an expert. Peter and I and the Capitan brothers are experts. We'll give you some good information. We'll tell you whether you have a case or not and whether we could represent you. Right, John?
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so call the Capitan brothers or Jonathan Rooker. You are now in our offices, not part of our offices, but you're sharing office space. Hey, by the way, it's how fun is the office?
We've had a lot of fun in there. Pranking Peter is one of my favorite things to do.
God. So Jonathan, God, I tell you, you're going to get your ass beat one day.
I'm okay with that.
Because you're okay with that. Yeah, that is true because you're a pretty tough guy. He finds, what did you find? What was this little machine that you found?
They're tiny little machines and they run on watch batteries and they're about the size of the face of a watch. They emit a cricket noise every 7 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, a cricket noise. It goes crick, 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 like that.
Chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah.
And it's random. You don't know if it's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15. So you can't really time how to find it. So I put one in Peter's office for a few days. Then he fumigated because he thought it was a cricket. And when he had his door shut, so none of us were supposed to go in there so we didn't get poisoned, thinking he killed the cricket, I put 2 more in there.
It drove him crazy. That you changed the puzzle pieces on his puzzle. You took a few out. You put a few fake ones in.
I would never steal a puzzle piece. That's very low. I ordered another puzzle that was similar to his, and I put about 30 extra pieces in it.
Yeah, so that drove him crazy. I got to admit to you, I finally told him. I said, because you were going to drive him crazy.
Oh, we should have let that one play out.
But I understand you put one of the cricket machines in my room too, but my ears are so shot from rock and roll that I never heard the darn thing. So
Marcella's laughing right now because she knows the prank was I didn't put one in there. I told you I didn't, to drive you nuts for not being able to hear it.
I would sit silently to see if I could hear the darn thing.
You're finding out for the first time right now.
Marcella, A2 Brute, A2 Marcella. Oh my God, you're from not Cutler. I keep saying Cutler.
Carruthers.
You're from Carruthers. Hey, listen, I shouldn't have chuckled after that. Carruthers, props to Carruthers out there. You're a lifelong resident of Carruthers and moved here to Fresno how long ago?
Well, I moved to Kingsburg first. I spent 13 years there, then moved to Fresno.
Yeah, what'd mom and dad do?
Dad was a teacher at Layton High School. He taught wood shop. He was a real estate broker, and he owned the car wash in Carruthers.
Yeah. Mom?
X-ray tech.
X-ray tech.
They retired, moved over to Cambria, and they've
got as far away from you as possible.
Yeah,
you just bought a place in Cambria.
Yeah, I just got a house over there
with the help of a little settlement that you got.
Someone helped a little bit.
Someone helped a little bit.
Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you, man. Family happy because of that.
Oh, mom's very happy.
Yeah,
she's working up at Hearst Castle now. She's doing a retirement job.
What room is she in? Do you know, or what kind of job does she have there?
I think it's still security.
Wow.
Telling people to stay on the rug, including me when I go.
Have you been there lately?
It's been about a year, but I got to go swimming in the outdoor pool.
No, how did you do? Wait a minute. How'd you do that?
Mom got to bring people up for friends and family night, and they let us swim in the pool.
Oh, that's special.
It was cold though.
It was cold
it
pool.
Was cold.
It wasn't a heated pool.
It was not a heated pool, but it was fun.
That's it. Playing like the rich and famous. Where'd you go to high school?
Carruthers.
Carruthers High. Sports.
Yeah. I wrestled in high school, but I really liked powerlifting. Weightlifting was my thing.
Okay, we're going to get into the powerlifting thing. And this was when you were in high school?
I started lifting mostly because I was a really small kid. I was scared of going to high school. And I started lifting every day and continued up for many years.
You got about an inch on me, so we won't say how tall we are, but you are. we are put slight of stature, as they say. So, but you got arms like a gorilla over there, man. It's nuts. And so you started lifting every day. Were you a skinny kid or were you a bigger
chubby,
kid?
Red hair, freckle face, speech impediment, the whole bit.
Well, you still got the chubby and the freckle face.
The freckles gotten better.
I don't know about the red hair.
Red hair, it fell out long ago.
Okay, so you were a power lifter, and get this, folks. Jonathan Rooker, what is you were doing bench press. Mm-hmm. And your highest bench press weight-wise at how old?
I was 19 years old, or
19. April 10th, 1993. You lift how much?
In competition, 500 pounds in the 181 body class for teenage.
500 pounds.
545s and a 2.5 on each side.
Peter and I did a contest years ago. I did like 235, which I thought was amazing for me. 500 pounds. How long were you weightlifting at that point?
I'd always lifted as a younger kid, but I was serious about it since about age 12.
Okay.
11 or 12, I got pretty serious about it. And I rarely missed a day, and I spent hours out there. Not a lot to do out in Carruthers, but I had a good weight set, and I put it to use.
Was it like a community of guys out there lifting, or were you doing this on your own, basically?
I went down to the weight room at the high school, and I lifted there over the summer, and I lanked it.
You did what?
I went to the weight room at the high school.
And you lanked it?
Lifted weights down there.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I saw progress, and then I got a better weight set, and then a better weight set, and we stacked my grandparents' garage full of weights. And
who's spotting you at 500 pounds?
I believe it was John Alvarado that day. I definitely know it was John Alvarado that walked up and slapped me in the face right before I lifted.
that weightlifter stuff.
Yes.
Like that kind of stuff.
Oh, slap each other as hard as we could.
Really? Is that a motivating thing? Or was that just, did it tickle you pink?
We just did it. There was times I'd get slapped. It would be a half a second before I was like, wait, I'm supposed to lift.
Any injuries?
I did not get injured weightlifting. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, it's got to be hard on the body after a while.
I have nothing happened from that.
Well, you're about 10, 15 years behind me. Wait.
Oh, it's coming.
It comes, really. It was this John Alvarado and these guys were professional lifters or what?
John Alvarado was very good. I think he got up to about 600 pounds on give or take on his lifts.
Oh my God. And that was a record you said, right?
Mine 500 was.
Yeah. Of your age or your weight class?
Age and weight.
Wow. You still hold that record?
I don't know. Last time I checked, I did, but it's been many years.
It's like what, a California record or an age record or what?
Age, weight, world record.
And you got a bunch of trophies for that?
I did. I had a bunch of trophies.
Yeah.
I think my parents got sick of them. When they moved, they left them in the attic.
So they moved and left all your treasures in the attic.
Intentionally.
So they were basically, we're done with the guy. We're out of here.
And I got a call from the guy, and he said I could have him back.
The new owner of the house?
Yeah. He found him with all the articles and everything.
Did you take him back?
Nah, I didn't want to store him.
Good for you, man. I just found like one of my judo trophies, the like third place from when I was 6 years old, and I was like, I'm going to keep this still. And then finally, I was just like, oh, give it up, and I took it down to the thrift store or something like that. All right, we're going to be right back with Jonathan Rooker from the Jonathan Rooker Law Offices. This is the Mark Capitan Show on KMJ. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Welcome back to the Mark Capitan Show. Folks, if you are looking for an expert DUI lawyer, call the law offices of Jonathan Rooker at 559-266-5555. A new sponsor for the show, Jonathan Rooker's Law Office. 559-266-5555. John has been named a Super Lawyers Rising Star. He's a member of the top 100 trial attorneys and has received the Client's Choice Award from AVO. He's a nationally recognized expert in forensic alcohol analysis. And he's also bathroom recognized as well because he's on the bathroom of every bar. I'm sorry I had to do that to you, man. That's okay?
That's where our clients come from a lot of times. So it's good to be recognized there.
No, listen, he is I wanted to give you a little promo, but I couldn't be too serious because we're always teasing each other and because you're trying to put crickets in my office and stuff like that. So
there'll be one tomorrow.
You are an expert. Okay, this gets to what I think is sort of serious and significant about you is you have, okay, let's go through it. You have a JD in law, Juris Doctorate in law, meaning you're a lawyer. You pass to the bar. You have an MS, Master of Science in Forensic Toxicology. You have a Master of Science in Pharmacological Sciences or Pharmacy. You have a Master's in Educational Counseling. I don't know who you're counseling, but that's scary. I'm assuming you did that for Dad or something like that because he was a teacher.
Thought I might want to go into that, but I didn't.
Okay. And you have a BS in Criminology, which is just funny to say that you have a BS in crime. So, all right. You have a pilot's license. You do jiu-jitsu. You have a record-holding weightlift bench press of 500 pounds. And I sit here and I go, for a guy that I just joke around with every day since you're 2 doors down in my office, you're a very, very serious, very, this is going to kill me to say, intelligent and very, very driven guy. Where's that come from? Because if I met you in the bar, you'd just be like a nice guy. I met a nice guy at the bar, but you're a very driven guy.
Well, the hardest thing I ever got's not on the paper. We missed it.
Which is?
Purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That was the most work of any of it.
Wait, really? Why?
It's just a lot of work. It's harder to get a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu than it is a JD. There's a lot that goes into it. And I love it. It's fun.
I guess. I mean, I did judo. And so, well, then again, Richie, I think, gave me my black belt just because he felt sorry for me at 40-something years old coming back to judo, you know.
Social promotion.
Yeah. Is that what they call it? Social promotion? Thanks. I didn't know there was an actual term for what I got.
Richie didn't tell you?
No. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
All in all, I just like to read. I like to learn. And once it gets rolling, it's fun. My favorite thing to do is to sit in the hot tub and read a book. That is just for relaxation. It's great. The mental
image is killing me, though.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Well played. Since as a kid, were you like that? Because I got a theory. Tell me.
No, as a kid, I was not. I wanted to ditch school, go out and have fun. In Crothers, we had foggy day schedules.
Yeah.
When we saw that go across the bottom, the phone started ringing and we were plotting a Pismo trip. Because, why go to half a day of school?
Yeah. So you still drive in the fog. You just head the other way.
Yeah. We weren't afraid of the fog. We were afraid of school.
By the way, I remember those judges out in Hanford. Man, some of those guys, they were hardcore. And I remember one time finally getting up enough courage after driving about 10 miles. I was around Selma or somewhere, and calling the judge and saying, it's a lot of fog. and I don't think I can make it. And he's like, well, Mr. Capitan, court's at 8:15. And I finally said, you know what? I don't care. I'm not coming, because it was so bad. And he finally said, I understand. And that was about the first sense of compassion I ever heard from some of those guys out there.
Some of them can be tough. I understand. And the fog used to be a lot worse out there too, but it's gotten better over time.
Yeah, I think just because of all the infrastructure that gets built up. But yeah, I don't see the fog nearly as much as it used to be. I don't think these young kids, and maybe underground irrigation and stuff. I don't know if the young kids understand how bad it was. Okay, here's my theory on your drive. And Marcella, you're going to be ready to cry here in a little bit, okay? Because you've acknowledged to me that sometimes life was tough. Mm-hmm. You had a brother that was very much the special guy in the family. And I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds. No. We could cut out anything that we say here. And I'll be happy to cut it out so it doesn't go over the air. But you've been very honest. And I think you have a drive, not as a competition, but as a showing, and something very tragic happened to your brother, but as a showing of maybe keeping busy to keep your mind busy, but also as a showing to the rest of the family, subconsciously maybe, that I'm worthy and that I am a can-do guy, and I am going to be a success no matter what I had to face when I was younger.
That's an interesting theory. It's possible. I'm super competitive, and I would hate to be overlooked by any means. So I am competitive in that way. You may be right. I hadn't thought about it. That didn't cross your mind, because we've had some very serious discussions about you had a brother that he lost his life, self-inflicted, but he lost his life, and I don't know, did your drive start any time after that?
For me, it was really right after. I spent a lot of time in junior college, and it was like, okay, I'm growing up. It's time to get going. And when I switched over to Fresno State, I made it through Fresno State in 3 semesters. I knocked out a master's degree in 2 years after that. Went it through Fresno State, after the master's. Then I went back. I did law school in 3 years. And I can't remember whether it was 18 months per master's afterwards or whether it was 2 years. I can't remember. So I got on a roll, and I was knocking it out fast and got good at it. And school becomes easier. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Over time.
And when around that time did your brother take his life?
It was right around 2001. So we're looking before the first master's degree, but after the bachelor's degree.
Huh.
So I'd already done the Fresno State in 3 semesters at that point.
Yeah, and I don't mean it in any bad way to any of the family or anything like that. It's obviously he had his troubles, and the family did their best to address his troubles and stuff like that. And I just didn't know if it was a matter of you sitting here saying that I got to keep my nose to the grindstone, keep my mind busy so I don't think about these things, and try to show everybody that may have had doubts that I'm a success in anything that I do.
I think I'd been pretty successful by the time some falling out with certain family members, and I did drive a little harder during that to make sure that I didn't fall off course.
The biggest success that you've had in this regard, and I named all these things about master's degrees and all that kind of stuff, is what I find to be the most satisfying thing to you when we sit in there and have these personal discussions, is the marriage to your wife and Martha, and the taking on of the fatherhood, the fathership of your now son, Damien.
I got so lucky. I could not have found a nicer wife or a cooler kid. He is so fun to raise. Raising him's been the funnest thing I've ever done. I have to endure the videos, constant videos, and you don't cut it to the part where he's pinning the guy. It's always the whole match that I have to watch every weekend of Damien, the puglet, as you call him, the puglet, and you call your wife the pug, right?
Pugster.
The pugster,
or pug for short.
You love it, right?
Oh, it's been the funnest thing. Best 5 years of my life with them.
Wow. Yeah, you've been a good father, and you're real proud of him. And I think it's a great accomplishment for you, from probably one of the best accomplishments of your life, if not the best accomplishment. So here's to you as far as that's concerned. We are on with Jonathan Rooker from the law offices of Jonathan Rooker. This is the Mark Capitan Show on KMJ. We'll be right back after this. It's KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Hey, folks, you looking for a good concert? Go to AmericanMadeConcerts.com if you want some great rock and roll entertainment. AmericanMadeConcerts.com. Check for your up-and-coming shows, a new sponsor of the show, the Mark Capitan Show. So if you're looking for some great music, great rock and roll entertainment, go to AmericanMadeConcerts.com. Welcome back to the show. We are on with Jonathan Rooker from the law offices of Jonathan Rooker. He's a criminal defense attorney, and he's a forensic alcohol expert witness. If you need for your DUI and you want an alcohol expert, Jonathan is a chemist, scientist, pharmacist. It doesn't, he's got it all. And he's a great father. Father of the year, right, Jonathan?
Oh, I'm trying to be a good dad.
Did that come from Dad?
A lot of it did, actually. Today, when I woke up, Puglet was talking to me, and he said, "Hey, I want to go camping."
Yeah.
I was like, "Where do you want to go camping?" That place up there with the rock in the mountains where we catch all the fish. It's Ward Lake.
What's it?
Ward Lake.
Right, I don't know Ward Lake.
Florence, right over Kaiser Pass.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and that's where my dad used to take me. We used to go camping up there. So I called Dad up. I was like, "Dad, I talked to Puglet this morning. It looks like you got a camping trip coming this June."
Oh, really?
He's like, all right. He's in.
Has he hung much out with the Puglet?
Yeah, he went over and spent a week with them last year.
Oh, that's
And they took him
great.
surfing, got him surf lessons, took him fishing. Dad told him, if you catch a fish on your last cast, you can keep it. He pulled in a tiny little fish. Dad had to take it home, clean it, and cook it for him.
Did he mount it?
He ate it.
He ate it. Yeah, you've always talked about how you had a great relationship with your mom and dad. Yeah, by the way, if we mentioned anything in the last segment, it's not mom and dad. You had a great relationship with your mom and dad, and
Well, Dad's listening, so
he's listening.
Oh, I'm sure.
Does he listen to the show?
Yeah, he does.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I appreciate that. What's his name?
Jacob.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Mr. Rooker. Thanks for listening to the show. Keep listening. I appreciate it.
My parents went with me on my engagement trip up to Alaska.
Okay, that's weird.
Well, no one knew it was an engagement trip. And the Puglet went too. And Puglet caught his first fish up there. It was a king salmon.
Oh, wow.
He battled. Little dude battled that fish. It was 15, 20 minutes of reeling out on the boat, out on a river. It's a rustic lodge where they don't have electricity in any of the rooms, but they have a chef and a cabin area for everyone to go eat and hang out. Mm-hmm. But then you have a wood stove and a lantern in your rooms.
Really?
We'd gone there back in 91. My brother went with us. He took a picture with all of the fish and claimed that he caught them all to all of his friends. But so be it. But it was our first time back since 91. It was almost 30 years to the day almost.
Wow.
It was kind of nice. And the Puglet's going back, and Dad and Mom going with us this summer.
You. Good for you. So you took him to go ask your wife to marry her?
Yeah, I wanted to surprise her and surprise him and go on that trip. And it was kind of a place that meant a lot to me. And I want to introduce Puglet to it and take him there a few times. Then when I'm old, he can take me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Well, you know what? I got to say, because you are so nice to that kid. Listen, Pugs, if you're out there, man, I know that it's good to have a guy like Jonathan as a dad, but I'll tell you what, I think he needed you more than you needed him, right?
Yeah, I definitely needed that kid. He is awesome.
Yeah, especially to get you out of the wild days.
His biological dad takes care of
That's what I understand. You guys have a good, you guys get along and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, we get along great.
That's the best.
And he loves his kid. I don't want to take anything away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another reason why you're a decent dude. All right, I get it. You went to a seminar. So you're an alcohol analyst. You testify as an expert.
Yes.
You went to a seminar with Barry Scheck?
Yeah, the National Forensic College twice back in New York University.
What's that guy like?
Very serious.
Oh, really?
He is a very, very serious person. I talked to him. We spoke out in the lobby, talked about different cases, and he's very serious.
Yeah. You testify in cases regarding basically like we talk about rising blood alcohols and things that help prove that a person may not be under the influence when the testing may show that they're under the influence?
Yes, definitely. It's the ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism, and elimination of alcohol in the body. Yeah, put you to sleep. Just that quick. But next subject.
No, but you know what? It's listen, man. It's saved a bunch of my cases. You've had decent success with that, right?
Yes, very much.
It's hard to try to convince a jury that what that test result shows may not be accurate, but everybody's different.
Everybody is different. And if you took a bottle of 80 proof whiskey and you drank it right now and you had something in your blood testing it, there's going to be a period of time before you get to 0.08.
Right.
And how long is it? It depends on a lot of factors.
Yeah, if you take a couple shots and drive immediately home in 5 minutes and get home, it hasn't affected you yet, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's put the caveat, folks, that we're not suggesting that you go out and do that, right?
No, not at all. Don't test the theory. You might be in trouble.
The marijuana stuff, harder to determine when a person's under the influence, right?
Oh, that one is a total different animal. Comparing alcohol to marijuana you can't do it.
Should they give it a level? There are levels that generally we say 5 nanograms per milliliter. That's a person's got to be under the influence at the time, and it's just somewhat as arbitrary as alcohol. 0.08, a person has to be under the influence. Should they give it a number?
No, they should not give a number on marijuana. There's no correlation between any certain number and impairment. You can take people, and there comes a point where a certain blood alcohol level, it's less, but we'll use 0.20. At 0.20, I think everyone in the world's impaired. Definitely below that, too. There's lower levels.
A 0.20 of alcohol?
Yes.
Impaired? They're smashed,
yes,
right?
There's a level. Nobody is 0.20 and not impaired.
Okay.
But there is no such number with marijuana. We can't correlate the amount of it in there to impairment.
All right, let me ask you this then. Should they have legalized marijuana?
Yes, I agree with legalizing marijuana. We need to pick our fights.
Okay. How do we control? Do you think accidents, DUIs, deaths, this, that, and the other thing are going to go up as a result of the legalization of marijuana?
I don't think so. I don't think they're going up. I haven't seen the studies on the numbers that were happening before compared to the numbers now. But I don't think they're going up. Lots of times when people drive, when they have marijuana in their system, they slow down, they pay attention. But you get somebody who's drinking alcohol and they speed up, they look at their phone, they try to multitask, they don't pay attention. And the impairment can be mental before it's physical.
Right.
Making bad decisions.
That doesn't happen with marijuana, you're saying?
They focus in, they slow down, it's like they know there's something.
They're chilling out.
Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere, man. I'm chilling and I'm high.
Or sometimes if they are high, they pull back in the driveway because they can't drive.
You think they make better decisions?
Better than a really drunk person? Yes.
Really? Wow. Okay. I know you're a purple belt now.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu. I know you're a great fighter in jiu-jitsu, but I understand that you were beaten up by a pink bird.
Yes, in Aruba, they had a sign up where we shouldn't go over a fence and get near or pet or feed these giant pink flamingo birds. I found out why. They've got sharp claws and they just kind of and flashed my hand open.
You had a flamingo. So it says don't go near the flamingos, and you immediately go to the flamingos.
When it says don't do something, that means go do it.
Alcohol involved in that one?
I can't remember exactly, but possibly.
That sounds like a yes to me.
But I'd do it sober.
Slashed your hand open.
Yes.
The wonderful, the very intelligent, not so cautious Jonathan Rooker from the law offices of Jonathan Rooker. Go and hire him for your next DUI if you don't hire the Capitan brothers. Try the Capitan brothers first, though. Thanks for being on the show, Jonathan.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next week on the Mark Capitan Show. This is KMJ. Say hi to Mr. Rooker one last time.
Have fun, Dad.